Nestled in a sleepy suburb, Brookview Lane was the kind of place where nothing ever happened, or so the residents liked to believe. White picket fences, trimmed hedges, kids riding bikes after school. It was a postcard of American normalcy. But on the night of March 5th, 2018, that illusion shattered. The scream was sharp. It cut through the quiet like broken glass, sharp enough to wake Marie Jennings, who lived across the street from the Morrisons. Marie, 62 years old, widowed, and an avid knitter, had always kept an eye on the neighborhood from her bay window. That night, she saw something. Marie didn't want to believe what her eyes had registered. A shadowy figure darting from the Morrison backyard, slipping between houses. A flash of red, a metallic glint, then silence. She dialed 911. What followed would unravel a chilling mystery, ignite a media frenzy, and reveal a dark truth hiding behind those white fences. Emily Morrison was 34, a kindergarten teacher, wife to Jason Morrison, and a beloved member of her community. She was known for her warm smile and the gentle way she taught her students to read. On the morning of March 6th, Emily was found dead in her own kitchen. Blunt force trauma to the head. No signs of forced entry. Her body had collapsed near the back door, as if she had been trying to flee. Her phone was shattered nearby. Jason claimed he had been working late. He was a senior project manager at an IT firm. His alibi? Emails and security logs from his building downtown. At first glance, it held up. But to Detective Helena Cruz, something didn't add up. The broken phone. The way Jason recited his timeline like a script. The way the neighbors hesitated to talk, glancing at Marie Jennings' house like it held a secret. Because maybe it did. 3 days after the murder, Marie Jennings requested to speak to the police again. "I didn't tell you everything," she said, hands shaking. "I was scared. But I saw something that night." Marie described the figure she saw running from the Morrison house. Tall, male, wearing a hoodie, red. She'd seen him before. "He's not a stranger," she whispered. "He lives here. One of us." Marie's words sent shockwaves. A murderer within the community. It seemed impossible. But Detective Cruz took her seriously. A neighborhood canvass began. Background checks, surveillance footage, doorbell cams, and whispers. Because Brookview Lane had secrets. And they were starting to leak. Jason Morrison's alibi was airtight, on paper. But when Cruz dug deeper, discrepancies surfaced. Jason had sent emails during his work hours, but they were auto-scheduled. Security logs at the office? Manipulable. A janitor remembered seeing Jason leave early that night. A neighbor's doorbell cam caught Jason's car pulling into the driveway at 9:16 p.m. Emily's estimated time of death? 9:30 p.m. Jason claimed he got home at 10:45 p.m. Something didn't fit. Cruz confronted him. He became defensive. His lawyer intervened. The investigation hit a wall. But someone else was about to come forward. Someone who had been silent until now. Nina Lopez, 16, lived 2 houses down. On the night of the murder, she had been sneaking out to meet her boyfriend, against her parents' wishes. She told Detective Cruz she had seen Jason pacing in the driveway at around 9:25 p.m., visibly agitated. "I thought it was weird," Nina said. "He was just staring at the house. Then he walked around back." That was minutes before Emily died. But Nina had kept quiet out of fear her parents would ground her. Now, she wanted to help. Her statement put Jason at the scene just before the murder. Enough for Cruz to push for a warrant. The Morrisons had recently installed a new security system. One Jason said malfunctioned that night. But a tech expert discovered something chilling. A hidden camera in the kitchen had been backed up to a cloud server Jason forgot about. The footage was corrupted, except for a 12-second clip. It showed Emily backing away, frightened. Jason entering the frame. His voice low. "You made me do this." Then static. The footage didn't show the actual attack, but it was damning. Combined with witness accounts, it was enough to arrest Jason Morrison for the murder of his wife. But this was only the beginning. The story exploded. "Model husband or cold-blooded killer," headlines screamed. News vans camped outside Brookview Lane. Neighbors refused to talk. Some defended Jason. Others whispered about his temper. Old stories emerged, arguments heard late at night. Emily showing up to school with bruises. A counselor friend Emily had confided in. Jason's defense attorney painted Emily as mentally unstable. Claimed she attacked him. But Marie Jennings wouldn't stay quiet. "She was scared of him," she told reporters. "She asked me once, Do you think people can change back into monsters? The trial was set. But one person had information that hadn't surfaced. Yet, Derek Morrison, Jason's younger brother, arrived for the trial looking worn. He had stayed out of the spotlight, refusing interviews. But he requested a meeting with Detective Cruz. "I can't keep this secret," he said. "Emily called me the week before she died." According to Derek, Emily had discovered Jason was having an affair with a co-worker. But it wasn't just betrayal. She had threatened to expose him for financial fraud at his company. Jason begged her to stay silent. She said, "If anything happens to me, it's him." Derek had dismissed it as paranoia. Now, it haunted him. The prosecution had new ammunition. Under pressure, Jason's alleged mistress came forward. Melissa Trent, 29, an analyst at Jason's firm. She admitted to the affair, but denied involvement in the murder. "Jason told me he was going to divorce Emily," she said. "But he was scared of what she knew." Melissa confirmed the fraud. Jason had embezzled money, funneled through fake contractors. Emily had found proof. He said if she went public, everything would be over. Jason's motive now had layers: financial, personal, and emotional. Prosecutors prepared for trial. But then, a new clue emerged, from the very house Emily died in. The Morrisons had a dog, Teddy, a golden retriever. He was there the night Emily died. A forensics team revisiting the scene found scratch marks by the basement door, deep, frantic. Teddy had been locked downstairs. Why would Jason lock up the dog unless he planned something? And in the basement, behind an old cabinet, detectives found Emily's handwritten journal. Its final entry read, "He knows I'm going to the police tomorrow. I don't care anymore. If you're reading this, I didn't fall. I didn't accidentally hit my head. Tell Marie." She saw more than she realizes. The case had now moved beyond reasonable doubt. The courtroom buzzed with tension. Jury selection for Jason Morrison's murder trial began under heavy media scrutiny. Every potential juror was grilled about their knowledge of the case. Marie Jennings, now a key witness, was put under protection due to threats. Detective Cruz made sure she had regular updates. Her testimony could make or break the case. Jason's defense team focused on sowing doubt. No direct footage of the murder. Only 12 seconds of blurry audio. Circumstantial evidence, they claimed. But the journal, the affair, the timeline. Cruz knew the truth was enough, if the jury listened. The prosecution began with a stark declaration. This was not a random act of violence. This was premeditated. Emily Morrison knew too much. They laid out the timeline, the affair, the fraud, the witness accounts. Jason's defense countered with a plea of innocence. Claimed Emily was depressed, unstable. They even implied suicide. But the autopsy was clear. Blunt force trauma. No self-inflicted wounds. No accidental fall. A struggle. The courtroom leaned in. Everyone could feel it. This trial wasn't just about murder. It was about a neighborhood's facade cracking. Marie Jennings stood, trembling but resolute. She recounted the scream. The figure in red. The moment she realized the man was Jason Morrison. "I saw him. I wish I hadn't, but I did." The defense tried to shake her. Accused her of poor vision, of confusion. But Marie didn't waver. "I know what I saw. And Emily, she told me once, if anything happens to me, don't let it be quiet." Gasps rippled through the court. Marie's words struck a chord, not just legally, but emotionally. The prosecution entered Emily's journal into evidence. Her final entries were read aloud. "His pretending everything is normal. But I know. I've seen the files. He stole from his company. And now he wants me silent. If I end up dead, please tell Marie. She's the only one who believed me." Each sentence echoed through the courtroom. Jurors shifted uncomfortably. Jason didn't look up. It was no longer just a trial. It was Emily's voice coming back to demand justice. Throughout the trial, Jason remained stoic, occasionally scribbling notes, never looking at Marie, never looking at Emily's parents. When his mistress, Melissa Trent, testified, his eyes narrowed. "He lied to me too," she told the court. "I didn't know what he was capable of." Jason's defense painted him as a wronged husband. He was scared. He didn't kill her. But fear wasn't enough to explain the physical evidence. The blood patterns, the security clip, the dog locked in the basement. A forensic pathologist was brought back to the stand. She confirmed that the wounds on Emily's body were consistent with repeated blows from a blunt object. Likely a heavy vase, the same one missing from the living room. Glass shards had been found in Jason's tool chest. Cleaned, but missed a few microscopic traces. The prosecution built the case blow by blow, literally. A story of rage, silence, and a staged return home. Another neighbor, James Baxter, came forward mid-trial. He'd heard arguing weeks before the murder. Screams. A crash. He hadn't reported it. Didn't want to get involved. But guilt changed that. I heard him say, "If you ruin me, I'll ruin you first." It matched Emily's journal. Matched her fear. Matched the timeline. James's testimony pierced the narrative Jason's defense was struggling to hold together. Jason's team called a psychiatrist to question Emily's mental health. Brought up stress, anxiety, her seeing a therapist. They claimed the journal was dramatized. That she may have feared Jason, but that didn't prove murder. They accused the prosecution of relying on emotions, not facts. But Detective Cruz wasn't fazed. She knew the facts and how to present them. She took the stand next. Cruz laid out the timeline with clarity and precision. Emails falsified. Jason seen by Nina Lopez. Car captured on the doorbell cam. Deleted footage attempts. Fraud motive. She displayed the broken phone. Emily had tried to call 911. Jason smashed it. She paused. Looked at the jury. Emily Morrison died trying to escape a man she trusted. Every piece of evidence leads back to one person. She pointed. Jason Morrison. Closing arguments thundered in. Prosecution. He planned it. He silenced her. And now he wants you to believe it was an accident. Defense. You don't have a murder weapon. You don't have a clear image. You have doubt. Jurors were sent to deliberate. Outside, cameras flashed. The nation waited. Marie waited. Emily's parents waited. Teddy, the dog, now lived with a foster family. Inside, 12 people were deciding the future of Jason Morrison. Inside the jury room, the atmosphere was thick with tension. 12 strangers, now bound by duty, debated Jason Morrison's guilt. Some were convinced. Others hesitated. No murder weapon. Limited footage. Jason's defense had sowed doubt. "I just don't want to convict an innocent man," one juror whispered. "But what about Emily's journal?" another countered. "And the timeline?" They pored over evidence again. Reviewed testimonies. Watched the security clip. Reread the final journal entry. It wasn't about proof beyond all doubt. It was about truth beyond reasonable doubt. After 13 hours of deliberation, the jury returned. Jason Morrison stood, flanked by lawyers. Marie Jennings held Emily's mother's hand. The courtroom fell silent. On the charge of first-degree murder, we find the defendant guilty. Gasps. A cry. Jason didn't flinch. He looked down. His attorney whispered something. Marie closed her eyes in relief. Emily's parents wept. Justice had been served. But it wouldn't end there. 2 weeks later, Jason returned to court for sentencing. Emily's father gave a victim impact statement. "You took her life, her light, and you left us with questions, pain, and silence." Marie spoke too. She trusted you. She feared you. And still, she hoped you would change. The judge delivered the sentence, life in prison without the possibility of parole. Jason blinked slowly. Then, as he was led away, he muttered, "I didn't mean to." Brookview Lane changed. Homes went up for sale. Curtains stayed drawn. The neighborhood's illusion of safety was gone. Some blamed Marie for speaking out. Others thanked her. Kids stopped playing in the streets. Every neighbor's glance carried suspicion. The community had been pierced by truth. And truth left scars. Marie, though, felt peace. She visited Emily's grave once a week. Placed fresh flowers. Read from Emily's journal. Teddy, Emily's golden retriever, was adopted by a couple who had followed the case closely. He's gentle, but he still gets scared of loud noises, they told reporters. They renamed him Leo, short for Leonidas, meaning lion-like. Emily's memory lived on through him. And in a photo on the family's mantle, Emily, smiling, her arm around Teddy. Justice doesn't undo tragedy. But sometimes, it gives closure. Melissa Trent disappeared from the public eye after the trial. But 6 months later, she reached out to a non-profit for domestic abuse survivors. She began speaking out about manipulation, secrecy, and the warning signs she ignored. "I thought I knew him," she confessed in a blog post. But monsters wear normal faces. Her story helped other women recognize similar red flags. Pain turned into purpose. Jason's brother, Derek, spiraled after the conviction. He moved to another city, changed jobs, and refused interviews. But privately, he wrote letters to Emily's family, never mailed. In one letter, he admitted, "I should have warned her. I should have believed her. Maybe then, she'd still be alive." Regret doesn't erase failure. But sometimes, it plants the seed for change. A year later, Marie Jennings signed a book deal. The Neighbor Who Knew Too Much became a bestseller. She donated proceeds to women's shelters and victim advocacy groups. Critics praised the memoir as a powerful testament to listening, watching, and speaking up, even when it's terrifying. Marie's courage became a symbol. She never wanted fame. She only wanted Emily's voice heard. Detective Helena Cruz was promoted. The Morrison case became a training model for complex domestic investigations. She gave lectures titled "What the Victim Doesn't Say," highlighting indirect clues like pets, diaries, and fear written between the lines. Cruz never forgot Emily. She did everything right. She tried to leave. She told people. It still wasn't enough. But Emily's case changed how law enforcement listens. On the anniversary of Emily's death, a candlelight vigil lit up Brookview Lane. Neighbors, once silent, now gathered with candles. Marie read a passage from Emily's journal. "I want to believe people are good. I want to believe truth wins." For a moment, light returned to the cul-de-sac. Emily's story wasn't just about murder. It was about the danger of silence and the power of one voice to break it. If this story moved you, don't stay silent. Like, subscribe, and share. 5 weeks after the vigil, Marie Jennings found an unmarked envelope in her mailbox. No stamp, no return address, just her name. Inside was a USB stick. Marie contacted Detective Cruz. They opened the contents together. A single video file. Surveillance footage, different from the known clips. It showed Jason Morrison leaving the house the night of the murder, but someone else entering minutes later. A second figure. Tall. Hoodie. Red sleeves. Was there another accomplice? The footage stunned investigators. How had this clip not surfaced before? It was captured by a neighbor's motion-detecting trail camera meant for wildlife. The neighbor had moved away shortly after the trial. The second figure's face was partially visible. Not Jason. Not a stranger. It looked like Derek Morrison, Jason's brother. The same Derek who had claimed he stayed home that night. Detective Cruz reopened parts of the investigation. Derek was questioned again. He denied everything. Claimed the footage was doctored. But a digital forensics team confirmed the video's authenticity. Derek's alibi fell apart. A phone ping placed him near Brookview Lane at the exact time of the murder. Was Jason the killer, or the cover? Detective Cruz visited Jason in prison. Showed him the footage. Jason stared, pale. Then smirked. He always hated her. Said she turned me into a coward. He didn't confirm Derek's involvement, but he didn't deny it either. He was there, but it doesn't change what I did. Jason's cryptic words left more questions. 2 days later, Derek turned himself in. "I didn't hit her," he claimed. "I just wanted to scare her, to talk her out of ruining Jason's life." He admitted to entering the house, confronting Emily, but he claimed Jason arrived moments later, and things escalated. "I left before it happened." Derek was charged with obstruction of justice and accessory to murder. The new evidence caused public outrage. Should Jason's trial have included Derek? Was there a miscarriage of justice? Prosecutors reviewed the case, but they concluded Jason still delivered the fatal blows. He orchestrated it. The presence of Derek added context, but didn't exonerate Jason. Still, it tarnished the clean-cut narrative. Marie Jennings added an epilogue to her book. Evil doesn't always act alone. Sometimes, it recruits help. Sometimes, it hides in bloodlines. She toured colleges, giving talks on witnessing, trauma, and accountability. Her story had grown beyond a neighborhood tragedy. It was a national reminder. Never ignore what you see. Never dismiss a gut feeling. Years passed. Brookview Lane changed again. New families moved in. A park replaced the empty Morrison lot. But some memories lingered. The story became local lore. Students wrote essays about Emily. A mural with her face and the words "Truth Wins" was painted near the school. Marie still lived there. Still watching. Still remembering. Detective Cruz retired early. Her final public appearance was a podcast interview. When asked what haunted her most about the Morrison case, she answered, "The near miss. The fact that one more night, one more delay, and we'd have never known." She urged all officers to take domestic concerns seriously, even whispers. You don't need bruises to be in danger. Emily Morrison's name is now attached to a foundation for domestic abuse survivors. Her journals, preserved in a museum archive, are used in training programs. Her story became a law in her state, the Morrison Act, requiring deeper follow-up on domestic abuse tips. Marie sits on the board. The final entry in Marie's second book reads, I saw something that night, and for the rest of my life, I will keep telling what I saw. Because silence is complicity, and truth is a light. Thank you for staying with us through all the parts of this gripping investigation. Emily's voice lives on because of people like you who care, who listen, who share. White right pointing backhand index. Subscribe to True Crime Hub for more deep dives into the stories the world tried to forget. Truth doesn't hide forever. And here, we never stop digging. Stay safe. Stay curious. Stay loud.